Get ready for another storm system. You can see the area shaded in red out toward the Pacific currently. However, once we get closer on into the weekend, we could see pieces of it break off and bring rain to our forecast. We'll show you the rain forecast coming up after the break. Increasing the chance of rainfall, and boy, do we need it. We're in a notice you need to grab the lotion when you head out the door, maybe just to put it on your hands, maybe even that chapstick for you. Not going to last for long though, with moisture on the way as far as the storm system is concerned. You can see that low pressure still out over toward the Pacific. In fact, it's about 600 miles away from the Pacific Northwest. They will get it first, most likely on into Saturday and on into Sunday. We will get the cold front into our neck of the woods Sunday night, and that is when the precipitation is forecast to arrive in our area. So let's break it down for you hour by hour. Your rain cloud forecast tonight at 7 o'clock, staying mostly clear. It's beautiful for you, although temperatures are going to be a little bit cool. Tomorrow, we'll start to notice more clouds by 1 o'clock. Temperatures are still going to stay pleasant, but might shave off a few degrees compared to where they were today. It is Sunday. We'll start to notice really mostly cloudy conditions. Now, this map showing some green by 4 o'clock. I think this is Virga, meaning it's not actually going to hit the ground until we get to around 11:30 at night. Now we'll go ahead and put in about a 30% chance of rain over the evening, happening first for North County, and by 7 a.m. on Monday for your morning commute, I think there will still be rain covering portions of I-15 and I-5, and it does look like these rainfall totals will be fairly beneficial. Close to about 1/4 inch in rain anticipated for Del Mar, even through Lakeside. The mountain communities right now, Mount Laguna about 1/4, but you could actually end up seeing closer to about 4/10 inch in precipitation. Coming up, we'll talk more about those high 5 degrees below average. Not only will the storm produce some colder air by the time we get to around say late Sunday and into Monday, it's also going to produce some significant waves. So with that, a beach hazard statement already posted that will go into effect for a Sunday morning lasting through Monday afternoon, 5 to 8 foot sets. So before the storm system gets here, if you are going to do a little surfing, port to fair conditions for you tomorrow. Your water temperature is 62 to 64 degrees with it looks like knee to waist high sets. Your forecast for tomorrow, though, temperatures are going to start out on the cooler side, about 53 degrees, but that's close to seasonal, still warming up into the lower 70s. The big change tomorrow will be the clouds increasing for us. Inland areas warming up to about 78, but remember, those temps are going to fall with rain in the area. We'll show you the 7-day forecast in just a bit, guys.
All right, thanks, Sabrina.
To watch that sunset, we are looking at those values around 70 into San Diego, into downtown Ramona, about 69 degrees. Palomar Mountain only on into the 50s. While tomorrow will be fairly mild, we are waiting for a big storm to come our way Sunday night into early Monday. But there's already snowstorms happening throughout a good chunk of the country. When you take a look at what's happening across the U.S., you're able to see a little bit of rainfall now coming down throughout Houston and Louisiana, nothing really severe. But the shading in purple, that's where a major storm system is coming, and all of that headed to the northeast, so it may actually affect your travel plans. First, though, noticing colder air found out over toward Texas and even through Oklahoma. That's where they have freeze warnings up in that shading in dark blue there. Temps into the low 30s just outside of Dallas, and also a hard freeze warning if you're heading out over toward New Mexico, with temperatures falling to about 25 to around 28 degrees through Saturday morning. That storm system prompting blizzard warnings that are up for Minnesota, where snow about 6 to 12 inches in Bemidji. You'll see some gusts at around 55 miles per hour. Winter storm warning shaded in pink for the other half of the state, and also Minneapolis, their winter weather advisory. They could see around 4 inches of snowfall. Obviously, it's storms in the U.S. They always travel east. So guess what, folks? It is going to be heading to New York City by the time Sunday arrives. So if you're traveling that way, be prepared. Here's the forecast for Saturday. Pretty much looking at the 50s for headed out over to the Pacific Northwest, 60 into San Francisco, the lower 60s on into Austin. You can see that snow coming down right around the Great Lakes. On into Sunday, Detroit falls into the 30s. That storm continues to push out over toward the east, with temperatures continuing to fall in Buffalo at 35 degrees, Philadelphia into the 40s. That storm on the way Sunday night into Monday. 75 tomorrow, falling into the 60s on Monday. Let's look at your 7-day forecast. Guys, over to you.
All right, thank you, Sabrina.
For watching a storm system headed out over toward the Pacific now. You can see a lot of the shading in red. That's the unstable air that's going to lead to the threat of rain, maybe even some thunderstorms arriving in our neck of the woods late Sunday night, early Monday. We'll talk more about it on the flip side of the break. See you then. Take a look where the snowfall continues to come on down for relative moisture from the Great Lakes, and combine it with this Arctic air mass that's moving through Canada, and that's really going to allow the snowfall rates to really pick up and intensify. So with that, there are continuing to be winter storm warnings up for portions of Michigan, including out over toward Marquette. You can see snowfall there coming down, maybe about 2 to 9 inches where that winter storm warning is in place. Winter storm watch in that darker blue as that storm continues to push out over toward New York. 6 to 12 inches, but that light blue, lake effect snow warnings are what they're concerned with. Up to 15 inches of snowfall for a good chunk of Rochester, pushing out over toward Albany. Here's the forecast for you, starting us off at about 7:30 tomorrow morning. If you have travel plans in Buffalo, there might be some snowfall. You might have to check your airlines to make sure that flight's going off. Also seeing it out over toward Pittsburgh. Then once we get through Sunday afternoon, look at the shading in pink there. Into New York City, that wintry mix coming down. Not anticipating any advisories, but nonetheless dealing with a good chunk of wind as well as some of the snow. They're not the only ones dealing with precipitation. Check this out. Monday, overnight, 3:30 in the morning. We have green in Southern California. A storm system coming to us, not going to produce snowfall for our mountains. We have to be about 6,500 feet or higher for that. But nonetheless, precipitation will be around over the evening and even for the early morning commute. So much so rainfall totals now look to be quite impressive, something to call home and talk about. Escondido, maybe 3/10 of an inch there, 1/4 of an inch into Mira Mesa, about 4/10 of an inch out over toward Mount Laguna, and the deserts possibly even getting around 1/10 of an inch in precipitation. Coming up, we'll talk more about what this storm system is going to do for your weekend forecast. Guys? Speaking of cold, we start out a little on the chilly side. Around 6 a.m., San Diego's coastline, 53 degrees. Inland areas waking up at around 44. We do get a little bit warmer into the mid-70s for a lot of locations. However, there's a cool down in store with a major storm system. We'll talk about it on the flip side of the break. See you then. Why?
Because I want to see the twerking turkey.
Yeah, turkey. The turkey that ruffles his tail feathers?
Yeah, shakes it up. It's kind of like a cross, but you'll see it in moments. It's like a hybrid jumping jack twerk.
Maybe you'll show us your example of how the turkey goes.
Then again, maybe I won't. But I want to see your turkey because it's cool.
We will get clear conditions. Only 56 degrees in Encinitas. Oceanside, you're at 47 degrees. It is a cold night out over into Ramona as well. Temps dipping in around 40. You will fall into the 30s this evening. Now, we are also picking up a little bit of shower activity further to the north in Northern California. This is because of our next storm system. So it's already prompting winter storm watches out toward the Sierra Nevada mountains. They could see about, I'd say, 7 inches of snowfall there. The rain, for the most part, is going to stay in Northern California. They could see 3 inches of rain. But some of it does, in fact, make its way to Southern California. Here's the deal. That cold front forecast to slide on in through about the Pacific Northwest sometime tomorrow and into early Sunday. And then it's going to begin to stretch into Northern California down to our neck of the woods. Right in time for us as we wrap up the end of the weekend into the next work week. Temperature-wise, though, out ahead of that front is still going to be somewhat pleasant. We start out about 8 a.m. You say, I don't know if it's so pleasant, right? It's a little bit cold for me, but these numbers actually seasonal for us. So we'll start out into the low 50s. By the time we get to 8 o'clock, looking at 80 degrees into Del Mar, 52 for you out toward Lakeside and into Campo, around 53. The afternoon hours, right along the coast inland communities, you will fall, I'd say, about 2 to 3 degrees compared to where you were today. But that's still fairly close to seasonal. And in fact, if you're east of the mountains, you actually see a small little warm-up by about 1 to 5 degrees. So Julian going for 71 by 1 o'clock. And if you're headed out to the San Diego Bay, their Food and Wine Fest, now looking at 72 degrees for you then. Notice those clouds starting to increase for us. Sunday, pretty much mostly cloudy conditions, and then we'll notice really those temperatures starting to fall. Everyone will see them fall, I'd say almost 5 to 10 degrees. Now only looking at the 60s for the coast. Inland areas struggling to even reach the 70s. Looks like Palomar Mountain going for right around 57 degrees. I don't think Sunday we're going to see a lot of rain. Hold off on the umbrellas until you get to Monday. That's when we see the biggest chance of precipitation. Right now it looks like the chance of thunder backing off a little bit, but we still have a few days to sort of work that system out for you, and we'll have that latest forecast for you over the weekend with Brooke Landau. If you're headed into the waters because of that storm system, by the way, there is a beach hazard statement that goes into effect over the weekend because we could see some about 7-foot waves. Until then, though, for tomorrow, just looking at port affair conditions, you'll see needle waist-high sets, water temperature 62 to 64 degrees. Here is that turkey that you love so on into the mid-70s for the weekend.